The following is an Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, interactive. Covering weekly fallout from TNA Impact Wrestling Live as seen on Spike TV. You're listening to Impact Showdown Radio with your host, Lee Sanders.
Coming at you with an all-new Impact Showdown Radio, coming at you on February 21st. 2013. What's up, everybody? Hope you all have had a great week. Looks like we are going strong into the weekend, and you know we got daylight savings coming just around the corner. You know what that means. Some of you will actually like this. You get to go ahead an hour, so you get to go forward. Not really too bad. It means your day ends a little bit sooner than later. Not really too bad. All right, we got the chat room loaded up for you guys right now at blogtalkradio.com. Jump on in there when you get a free moment. You can also take the time out to interact with us during the course of this episode. Hit us up on Twitter, Infinity One Prod, as we do read live tweets from you all as we're on the air from time to time. Let us know how you had enjoyed or maybe you didn't like tonight's episode of Impact Wrestling. Let us hear from you all. Once again, hit us up at Twitter, Infinity One Prod. While you're at it, take the time out. Check out our cool page on Facebook at Infinity One Productions, where we try to give you a little bit of news you can use. Dip into a little bit of everything. I'm going to be joined by co-host Diamond K in just a little bit, folks, and we're definitely going to be running down some of the events that went down on tonight's episode of Impact Wrestling. As, of course, it was pre-taped, just in case you might have missed that memo there. This was actually done last week. Hey, they ended it on a good note. Of course, that's it for them being in London. Now they're going to be bringing the show back home to the States. Looks like they'll probably be at the Impact Zone for a couple of more weeks, and then after that, that is it. As you all know, March 14th, that's it. Impact Wrestling is going to be going on the road permanently, although from time to time they will be using the Orlando studios there to tape a couple of special episodes, so that should be interesting in itself. All right, let's go ahead and let's talk about some of the things that have played out on tonight's episode of Impact Wrestling. And mind you guys, this was actually my, first time watching Impact Wrestling after a week. Now, you all know we didn't do Impact Showdown Radio last Thursday. We made way for a very special R&B Valentine's Day episode and got a lot of rave reviews. If you haven't checked that out, go check it out. We had played a lot of old school hits, some really good music, man. It was some good stuff. But I had Impact Wrestling on my DVR. I was supposed to watch it last week. I didn't end up watching it. And right when I was in that nice little comfy position, I was getting ready to hit that remote control. I was getting ready to watch it. I said, you know what? I've gone this long without watching it. Maybe I can have a little bit of a new appreciation for Impact Wrestling if I just skip an episode, just wait a whole week. So I didn't even read the results of what went down last week. I didn't ask my friends, nothing. I just said, okay, not watching it. Let's just see what happens with this week. Let's see how far along they get, if they get that far along. And I must say, looking at Impact Wrestling tonight with a new, fresh set of eyes after a week, you know, I was quite pleased with the product that we had got tonight. As, of course, kicking things off, we had got the immortal Hulk Hogan, TNA General Manager, letting his decision finally be known as he was trying to break the ice last week and reveal who Jeff Hardy's opponent was going to be at the Lockdown pay-per-view. Well, unfortunately, as we all saw, he got interrupted by those damn aces and eights, as I like to call them. Well, he revealed it tonight. It's none other than, surprisingly, do you know who I am? Bully Ray is the one that is going to be taking on Jeff Hardy at the Lockdown pay-per-view, and we see a stunned Bully Ray come on out, and very interesting right here, very interesting. Bully Ray banged up from the match that he had sustained last week there with his injuries and all. Told Hulk Hogan, hey, Dad, I'm pleased that you selected me, as there's just a ton of other guys that are capable of doing this, guys more superior to me. But, man, you know I'm banged up, right? Hulk Hogan doesn't even care. As far as he's concerned, Bully Ray has demonstrated nothing more than hearts, guts. Diamond, I don't know, buddy. I mean, we hear Hulk Hogan sweet-talking the hell out of Bully Ray, you know, saying, man, when push came to shove, you had my back, you had Sting's back. If anybody's more deserving of this position of taking on Jeff Hardy for the title, it's you, brother. I don't know, man. That was a little bit too much for me. I don't know how you was reading that, man. Well, you know, it would kind of help if I maybe pressed that. Sorry about that, Diamond. Say that again.
You laid it on kind of thick, brother. Well, know something, dude. I think you're the right person for this job.
I mean, come on, man.
I hope I'm not the only one that was thinking this was NWO reborn all over again. I was thinking Hogan was going to come out, and I said, "There's no way he's dropping the leg on anybody." Back at the beach, I was thinking he was going to try to come out, and what was I thinking?
Oh my God, they had me going for a little bit. I mean, because I'm thinking, as soon as Bully Ray puts it out there, hey, we should take on Aces and Eights tonight. I think it should be me, Sting, and well, hell, how about you, Dad? And Hogan's like, yeah, brother. And I'm like, okay, we're really going to see Hulk Hogan. Last time we saw Hulk Hogan was Bound for Glory, 2011. Who was that he took on? Was that Eric Bischoff or was it Sting he last faced?
I want to say Sting.
I want to say Sting too. It was Sting. Yeah, because I remember that respecting that episode of Impact Wrestling, Hulk Hogan had called Sting out, and he was like, "You help me see the light, brother. I'm back to the good side. I'm good Hogan again." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, whatever." But I knew it was too good to be true because I was thinking back to a conversation we had a couple of weeks ago, and you had asked me, could you imagine Hulk Hogan? And I said, that lick drop would take an eternity to do. And, I'm thinking, okay, well, if they're going to do this, maybe this match will happen at 9:30 or something, and they got a lot of story time to tell in the ring, whatever. But then, when we see those final 10 minutes, we're like, okay, Impact's about to go off. I don't think Hulk Hogan's dropping anything, and we see him come on now, shredded clothes, Aces and Eights. They just so conveniently happen to have Brooke Hogan. I don't know, man. I'm hoping I'm wrong right here, but I just think that it's kind of weird, especially since you pointed it out. Brooke Hogan has never been attacked. Then you kind of got to go over to the other neck of the woods a little bit. You kind of got to look at Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan really hasn't put in direct physical harm by Aces and Eights, and I hope I'm wrong, man, but I just got the weirdest feeling that Hulk Hogan may be in on Aces and Eights.
Well, like I said, I said it many, many, many months ago that my prediction was Brooke Hogan being in Aces and Eights, and she can probably fit the same vest that Mr. Anderson's wearing. So there you have it.
Speaking of Anderson, I got to get your take on this. What do you think about Mr. Anderson being in Aces and Eights?
Well, let me say this. I've never been a big fan of Mr. Anderson. I did like Kennedy, but since he's been in TNA, I have not been a fan of his work. The things that they should do, they don't do, and the things that they don't do, they should do. The way this was set up, Mr. Anderson should have been feuding with Aces and Eights. He should have turned them down. The way it was set up, he should be on the side with Hogan and Bully Ray fighting Aces and Eights, not on their side. The way the story went down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, he just doesn't belong. I like the look that he changed to a bit, but he's right back in the same laziness. I mean, to me, he comes from the RVD school of wrestling. I don't know.
I don't know either, but, if not Anderson go that route that you pointed, he could have at least went a route where fans could sit up and go, all right, it's about damn time we get a new Mr. Anderson. I was really hoping that when Anderson was brought in and it looked as if Aces and Eights was going to be recruiting him, I'm thinking to myself, okay, maybe we can see a new spark be lit here. Maybe we can see a new change in character from Anderson, because no matter which way you cut it, Anderson, Mr. Kennedy, it's still the same guy, and it's like he's been pushing this gimmick for a good amount of years now. I mean, the guy's got at least almost, I think at this point, I think we've seen him between WWE and TNA. I think we've seen him for like maybe almost 8 years there. It's like, and it hasn't changed yet. It's still stale. And I don't know, man, he just seems so out of place. It just reminds me of the sad story there of the rise and fall of the NWO. It was good when you just had Hogan, Nash, and Hall, but then when you start throwing in Virgil and Blue Meaning and all these other things, it's messy. I compare it to just having a bomb picture of tropical Kool-Aid, and you just start adding all this other weird crap to it, and it's like, and that's how I think of Mr. Anderson now. But Garrett Bischoff, West Briscoe, they continue to do a phenomenal job there. How about that new development there? Kurt Angle issuing out that challenge to West Briscoe to take him on in a steel cage there at Lockdown.
That's I didn't see that coming. The thing about it is just that I don't want Kurt taking the chances that he's just known to take at this point in his career. Kurt feels like he has to go out and try to steal the show every chance he gets. I mean, I don't want to see him doing a moonsault. I don't want to see him attempting to do a moonsault or any of those type of things.
Mm-hmm. I don't want that either. Nah.
Yeah.
But if and we all know this match is going to happen. I mean, the challenge, it's been thrown out there, but we know it's going to go down. I'm if I were to give match predictions off the break, I'm looking at that particular match. Briscoe needs that. The new member of the Aces and Eights. He needs that. He kind of needs that little jolt right there. Really, this would be his truest test since he's been in TNA. And I mean, we've been watching this guy behind the shadows, couple of matches here and there, but he's been in TNA for a good minute now. So, he's getting a huge opportunity right here. Very curious, though, how Garrett Bischoff is going to play a role in this. Not quite the angle I was expecting. I was expecting to hear, hey, Garrett, Wes, why don't you two guys take me and Samoa Joe on 2-on-2 tag match inside?
Yeah, it's a little soon for this cage match.
Yeah. I don't know. We got to show some love to our boy PTE in the chat room. He's actually one of our new writers on the website. This looks like it's directed towards you, Diamond. He said, not to mention, Diamond, that Kurt is on his last few legs. He is retiring very soon. I feel that he is trying to bring up the rest of the roster so when he does leave, TNA doesn't take much of a toll. I could kind of agree with that. That's why I'm saying that if the booking is smart for that Lockdown pay-per-view, I would hope, unlike RVD, who kind of gives me the strong impression that, he doesn't know how to really speak up and say, look, we should be putting over these young guys because they are talented as hell. And, he's just continuing to get title shot after title shot, camera time after camera time. I truly believe in my heart, Kurt Angle, he is trying to do the right thing. But, Diamond, as you pointed out, there is that side of him that definitely loves to get those nice little sweet spots in there. And you're like, oh, my God, 45-year-old Kurt Angle, 46-year-old Kurt Angle, please don't do a moonsault from the top of the steel cage. Please don't do it.
Right.
You know, and he does it, and you're like, oh, my God, he's going to be out for a couple of weeks. But then even at that, he just comes right back. You know, I can't remember which pay-per-view it was, but there was some time, what was it, like middle of last year, he aggravated the hell out of his groin there, and he should have been, like, sidelined for, like, 2-3 weeks. And after the pay-per-view, I mean, you go, like, 3-4 days later, boom, he's on the next episode of Impact Live just throwing it down. And remember back last year when he was supposedly trying out for the Olympics, messed up something, and
right.
that should have been there. And then, like, we see him at the pay-per-view the same week. You know, we're like, okay, Kurt, if you hurt, you hurt. Sit out, buddy. You ain't got to be wrestling. What's going on here? So, very interesting stuff right there. But I'm expecting him to put Wes Briscoe over big time, put him and actually Garrett Briscoe over. Some of the matches that we had got, I want to start with the one that really, really jumped out there, Diamond. How about that damn Knockouts match for the Knockouts title? And, folks, we actually got crowned a new Knockouts champion in Velvet Sky. Diamond, your thoughts on that and just the match overall?
Well, I mean, the match was a little longer than I thought, so I figured something was going to go down, and it did. I mean, it was a pretty good match. Always like to see Tara. She's my favorite knockout, yeah. So I mean, it was very interesting from that standpoint. They gave it a lot of time, and new champion.
New champion. You know, I was interacting with a couple of folks on Twitter, and I put a very interesting tweet out there, and I think it really sums up what we had watched tonight with that particular match. Props to Velvet Sky for becoming the new Knockouts champion, but at the same time, bigger props to Tara, Gail Kim, and Tessmacher. I mean, because they really made Velvet look good tonight, you know. And Velvet, you know, I still feel she has a little ways to go. I don't know what it is, man, but it seems like the Velvet Sky that was last in TNA before going on those couple of months there removed, it just seemed like her wrestling was where it needed to be. It seemed almost up there with where Tessmacher is right now. But then it kind of seemed like whatever it was that she had, whatever she learned, seems like after she came back, I mean, she was rusty as hell. Seems like she's still kind of trying to find her way back in there.
Right.
Getting back to that point, and I have faith that she will get back there, but she has a long ways to go still. I know that they had to do this move, try to shake things up a little bit. After all, they were out there in London for the past month, and they want to try to create a little bit of buzz, especially when they come back to the States. I get that. Should be very interesting to see how this is all going to be panning out once it comes back to the States. I'm suspecting that Velvet Sky is going to be taking on Tara in a rematch. I would suspect that. I mean, she, I think it's fair to have Tara say, hey, I want a rematch. So should be interesting to see these two girls get it on one-on-one, and hopefully that match won't be in a way where Tara is like literally trying to put over Velvet. Basically she's doing all the work. I don't really want to see that. I want to see both of these girls, really bring it. So I think we're going to have a good matchup come lockdown. How about the news on Jeff Hardy there? His knee, go figure, 100%. Of course, we know the real deal. Of course, in case you all might not know, that injury that went down with the Aces and Eights member, just whop right behind the leg there, taking him out there. That was basically a good setup so TNA Wrestling could negotiate a new contract deal with him. And I had suspected that if they weren't able to succeed, then Basically, they would have said, well, Jeff Hardy, his leg is too severely damaged. He can no longer compete. He has to relinquish the title, and there probably would have been some type of a battle royal or something like that. Hell, it could have been something that could have went down at Lockdown. The top two guys could have probably went head-to-head to become the new champion there. But Jeff Hardy looks like he's going to be coming back next week. But, Diamond, I got to pick your brain on something. Hulk Hogan had a very interesting statement. I don't know if you caught this, but he had a very interesting statement that he had put out. I believe it was sometime or either earlier this week or last week, and he was asked about Jeff Hardy's injury, just the whole angle and all that, and him not being able to participate in the UK tour. And this is what he said. He told UK's Fighting Spirit magazine that if it were up to him, he would have removed the title from Hardy and placed it on Bobby Roode. Direct quote right here, Dixie runs the company, but if it was up to me, had it been my decision, Bobby Roode would have been a great champion right now. The UK tour plus a champion makes sense. A tour with no champion doesn't make sense. But I choose my battles. Some people look at the picture differently to how I do. What's your take on that?
That's like a behind the scenes type of thing to say. I'm really surprised and a little disappointed that he said that.
Same here, yeah.
In a public forum.
Mm-hmm.
He has a tendency to play politics. One of the best politicians in the game, Hogan, still playing politics. And it's really funny now that he's saying that because not too long ago, he was not singing the praises of Bobby Roode.
You're damn right. I remember vividly, yeah. Matter of fact, there was a couple of times there where Bobby Roode was slated to get the title, but Hogan played the politics there, and it didn't happen. And Roode was very frustrated at one of those times. And, they had to cool him down and let him know they was going to talk to the Hulkster and all that. But, you're absolutely right about that. And I definitely don't agree with it coming out like this. Stuff like that, you want to kind of keep to yourself. Really, that should be between him and Dixie. I don't really think this had any business being put out there in a public forum. Now
I also think...
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry about that. I also think that Hogan is threatened by Jeff Hardy. Putting the title on a Bobby Roode is Hogan, he said it, he wants to get the title again. Or he wants to get the title.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not ruling out the fact that Hogan is going to be wearing that belt sometime, in the next calendar year.
And Jack, that part, he doesn't deserve to be wearing it. I mean, it's like
that's true.
That's the thing. Now some of y'all may be listening to us and you may disagree with that. You may say, well, look, he does deserve it. He can't really lay claim to being the true wrestling icon if he doesn't at least have a taste of that title one time. I beg to differ. Hogan has done so much. He sold out Madison Square Garden so many times. I think if you were to make a top 5 list of guys that have sold out MSG, Bruno's going to probably be at number 1, but Hogan damn sure.
Definitely.
He's damn sure going to be at a close second place there. I mean, he's made so much money for the WWE, and he helped usher in that era of entertainment. He is one of the granddaddies, right along with Vince McMahon, in creating those wrestling pay-per-views and all that. Nobody's going to take anything away from the Hulkster, but to even fathom the idea of, I want to add the TNA title, around my waist. Okay, you know what? If we were to rewind the clock back 5-7 years, maybe I could entertain that. Or if we even had the Hulk Hogan that took on The Rock in TNA right now, I'd be like, okay, yeah, it should be an interesting ride. But he's too banged up. Father Time's caught up with him. This isn't about Hogan. It needs to be about pushing those younger guys. I look at a guy, and this is a perfect segue, I look at a guy like Big Rob Terry, and I've been saying it for at least 3 years now. Why the hell isn't this man the TNA champion? Because he's got an awesome freaking look. I mean, that is your next Dave Bautista, Brock Lesnar, if you do it right. And Diamond, it looks like we finally saw the beginnings there of a solo Big Rob Terry there. How did you enjoy that little display that we saw there post-match between Robbie E. there as he lost to Rockstar Spud?
Very interesting. It's been a long time coming, and I couldn't think of a better place for them to do it than overseas. Shows a lot of promise. I think that the reason that they haven't pulled the trigger on him is just he's a bit clunky in the ring, and I mean he has still too much muscle mass, I think, to even give some of the performances that Batista gave. But I personally think he's better in a heel role. I really. Somebody like Magnus surprised me with his mic ability. Rob Terry, not so much.
Mm-hmm. So if you had to pick between Magnus and Big Rob, I would take it you would go with Magnus.
Yes.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. And Magnus, to his credit, he slimmed down quite a bit because if I'm not mistaken, he used to be almost as big as Rob there.
I bet you Vince would love to have Rob Terry in WWE.
Oh, my God. I can just hear Vince McMahon right now. CM Punk, you did a good job, kid, but I need a real man. I need a man with pecs. I need a man with guns. I need a real American. Vince would have a freaking heyday with him. I could just hear John Cena now. What about me, boss? Well, what about you? That would be some phenomenal stuff right there. We saw a match there with RVD. He had the X Division title on the line against Kenny King. For those of you hardcore Kenny King fans and you didn't watch Impact Wrestling tonight, sorry, you guys are sadly gonna not like this news, but Kenny King didn't get the job done tonight. RVD once again retained the title. I will say this. Kenny King, he has just really been turning eyes. I mean, this new demeanor that's been coming out of him within recent weeks, man, I'm loving it, especially what he did there with RVD when he had him laid out and he took the two thumbs pointed to his butt. It's like Rob Van Dam, like stinks. I'm like, dang, that's that's a bit harsh, brother.
I think it's good that Kenny King did not win the title tonight because when he wins it, it's going to be on a bigger stage. I'm predicting it to be at the pay-per-view. And I guess if you say, is that really a bigger stage considering the amount of people that watch the TNA pay-per-views versus the broadcast shows. But with this new pay-per-view schedule, I definitely predict more eyes on the screens for the pay-per-views. And when he does get that title, and he will get that title, it's going to be at a pay-per-view.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Speaking of titles, Diamond, I'll put this question out there to you. This came from one of our good buddies on Twitter. I love this guy. He always puts a tweet out there whenever Impact Wrestling is on. He says, hey, when is Devon going to defend the TV title of his?
Does Devon have the TV title?
Devon does have the TV title. They've been doing it just like the way they've been doing that TNA Knockouts title. You know there's champions, but they haven't been defending it.
Good question. I mean, I've never been the big. I think that solo run that he did in WWE with the when he was the spiritual advisor was horrible. And
really,
every time I really,
that was a good gimmick.
I think that it was a nice gimmick for someone else. I didn't like his. It seems like on paper, it seems like it should have worked, but it just didn't work for me. Yeah, it just did not work for me. And over here, I don't know. He needs to be in a team, a tag team. He's I don't know. I don't know what it is that he just doesn't have, but he doesn't have it. And I wouldn't go as far as to say he's Marty Jannetty, but Bully Ray has excelled so much, and Devon has just been bland.
Yeah. I must admit, when I first found out that Devon was one of the guys in Aces and Eights, it was like, okay, this is interesting. M. Night Shyamalan, it's like, oh, that's a twist, And, then after a week or two, you just go, okay, same Devon. And it's funny because I remember putting this question out there. I said, okay, Aces and Eights, Devon, Team 3D, what's the difference? He's still wearing the same colors. Only difference is he has a pretty little Aces and Eights logo on the back of his vest, but it's still the same guy. And to answer the question, Blue, with regards to that title, honestly, I don't think TNA knows what to do with that title right now. The same argument can be made for the TNA Knockouts tag titles. Same question can be asked about that. When are those titles going to be defended? And quite honestly, I think TNA is just in a weird spot right now where they don't know what to do with those titles. And see, I thought that when it was announced that Devon was going to be going for his title because he never lost it, he wanted to win it back from Samoa Joe, I'm thinking, okay, so we're going to go back to seeing Devon maybe defend the title every single week or something like that. Maybe that's how Hogan would try to maybe stick it to Aces and Eights a little bit, stack up the odds, But we don't even see that. And it's funny because for a guy like Hulk Hogan on TV now, we know that, a lot of this stuff is just entertainment. It's already been pre-written and all that. But, it would just make a little bit of sense for TNA GM Hulk Hogan to kind of say, oh, yeah, Devon has that television title. Well, Aces and Eights, they're a pain in my ass. Okay, he's Aces and Eights, and let me put him in a match. Okay, I'm going to make his life hell till he loses that title. That's how I'm going to start getting back at Aces and Eights. And it's very unfortunate that we haven't even seen that happen yet. Honestly, it's like you don't know what to do with the titles, just retire them. That's really, if you don't know what to do with them, just retire them. A lot of fans can respect that. We don't know what to do with them. Well, honestly, we don't really think we have a division right now, so we're just going to retire them until a later date. Fans will be fine with that, but when you have it just blowing in the wind, like, okay, when's Eric Young and ODB coming back, and when are they going to defend the Knockout Tag titles? It's like, all you hear is crickets, because nobody really knows, man. How about that great 8-man tag match we saw? What was that? Chavo Hernandez, Joseph Park, James Storm taking on Austin Aries, Bobby Roode, Daniels Kazarian.
Yep, not bad at all. Not bad at all. I think that. Do you think that we're going to see Abyss come back at all, or is Joseph Park going to be, here to stay?
I think Joseph's here to stay. I mean, dude's been having so much fun. You could tell. I mean, he's enjoying this more than he is with Abyss. And, I mean, to put himself in a position where he doesn't have to put his body through thumbtacks and barbed wire and all that other insane crap that made the Abyss gimmick so famous. I mean, let's be for real. when we think about Abyss, we don't go, Abyss, oh my God, that was a great freaking wrestler. That's not how we remember Abyss. We're not
going to remember Joseph Park like that either.
Right, we're like, Abyss, man, that man went through some crazy stuff, hurting his body, So, no, Joseph Park is there to stay, man.
Okay. One other thing on the TV title conversation, I don't see the need for them to retire the TV title. To me, the TV title is the easiest title to have, especially if you have a national TV show. Mm-hmm. You just have a wrestler defend it on TV every week. Really simple.
Exactly.
And it could be against some up and coming guys or some of the some of the people in the gut check could have been fighting for a TV title match, it's the TV title. We're watching TV. This is really, really simple here, TNA people. This is really simple.
The formula was right the first time around. Devon every single week. And honestly, he was winning me over. I might have not really cared too much that he didn't really have a persona down and everything, but I was quite pleased with the performances he was having whenever the title was on the line. I thought he was pulling in some really great matches. And,
he was serviceable.
Yeah. He did pretty phenomenal there. But I won't say phenomenal. That's too strong for a word. But it was good. It wasn't okay, time to go. Make a cup of coffee. It kept you entertained. And PTE, let me show you some love. He says the TV title should be secondary. Okay, I see what you're saying. The TV title should be secondary to the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. There are so many guys in TNA that could hold that belt. Magnus is a perfect example. Could you guys see Magnum as TV champion? Yes.
Definitely.
That would be the smart way to go. Yeah, that would be the smart way to go.
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. And what else had happened on Impact tonight? I know we had got a tease there of AJ Styles. Yeah. What do you suspect of that?
It's really hard to say, what they're going to do. To me, AJ Styles is a face. He wrestles like a face. They've kept him off TV, so he may even have a new look. But I think that the shows have been missing him. And I, for one, am going to be happy to see him return if, in fact, that's what happens.
Yeah. Because it just feels so naked right now watching TNA wrestling because, the guy's been like one of the main heartbeats for it for so long, and it's like, God, when is this guy...
From the beginning, really.
Back? Yeah, exactly, yeah. It's like, when is this guy coming back? And, we got a little bit of a taste of what's to come because, remember, he was in attendance at that Bellator event where Dixie Carter made that announcement that... they had signed Jeff Hardy to a 2-year deal, and they tried to play off some type of angle with that where Dixie Carter didn't know that AJ was there, as I guess she ended up sitting pretty close to him, is what I had heard, and he gave her the coach shoulder, didn't say anything to her, so, we kind of got a little bit of a taste of what's to come. It's obviously we're going to get some type of a mean streak AJ, but I need to see a little bit more than what they were kind of giving us there when last we saw him. I need to see an AJ Styles that is gonna, AJ. That's a real tough one because you think about how it was when he was in Fortune 4. You think about how it was, if I'm not mistaken, he was in. I might have my guys mixed up, but I could have sworn he was. Nah, he wasn't. I was getting ready to say I could have sworn he was in Main Event Mafia, but I don't believe he wasn't in. Yeah, saw. I know for a fact we saw him try to go the heel route with Ric Flair.
Right.
Even emulating the robes and all that, and it seemed like those few times that he tried to go that heel route, kind of echo what you were saying there. Just the way he wrestled in the ring, he still just reeked of babyface. So, this time around, I kind of need to see AJ really branch away from that comfort zone and just, really turn head. That's what I'm expecting. So I definitely expect big things to happen for him when he gets ready to come back. I'm very curious to see how this, I believe it's a footage that they're going to be showing next week. I guess he gave him an interview or something, but should be interesting to see how that's going to play out next week. But if this doesn't pan out, oh my God, you talk about huge disappointment. I mean, it's they're in a weird spot right now because, they're in a good position right now where they can have a revitalized AJ Styles really, really be relevant again. You see what's going on with Austin Aries, Bobby Roode. They're a little bit chilled right now because we see what's going on with them in the tag division. So they're a little bit on the ice right now. They're still relevant, but, they're a bit on the ice right now. AJ, there's a perfect opportunity for him to just come right on in and pick up literally where Roode was when he was the heel champion. Vacant spot, wide open. All he got to do is just take it, run with it. So I'm definitely going to be rooting on whatever this promo is that they're going to be showing of him next week. Let me ask you something, and I meant to ask you this last week. Do you think that TNA Wrestling and Bellator, it's a bit too much? First we had Dixie Carter go over there, make the little announcement about Jeff Hardy. Now, tonight, and please do not take this as a opportunity to change channels because it's not, but tonight on Bellator Fighting, TNA referee Taryn Terrell is supposed to be going over there. You think it's a little bit too much?
As far as the cross promotion?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a bit too much. I just feel that it's unnatural. It seems like they're really forcing it. At times it is a little sickening. If that's what you mean.
Yeah, it really is. Because, it's like, I was talking about this like a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, okay, you have TNA president Dixie Carter pop up on Bellator Fighting to announce that Jeff Hardy signed a 2-year contract, and it's like, okay, Dixie, TNA Wrestling, no disrespect, but wouldn't this appearance on Bellator Fighting made a little more sense if it went down on the same episode where King Mo had made his Bellator fight debut? And that would have gave Dixie Carter the perfect opportunity to talk about King Mo, as, of course, he's working for Bellator and TNA Wrestling. They could have picked her brain a little bit, gotten her take on if she knows ETA on when he's going to be making his TNA Wrestling debut, and she could have broke the news about Jeff Hardy right there. Now you have this thing going on with Taryn Terrell, and it's kind of like, they didn't even try to dress that up. They didn't even say Taryn Terrell has a special message that she's going to be announcing on Bellator Fighting. They didn't even do that. They just said, hey, watch Bellator Fighting. TNA's referee, Taryn Terrell's going to be there. Next thing you know, it's going to be like, hey, watch Bellator Fighting this week because the guys that hook up all the wrestlers in catering, they're going to be on there. I just think it's ridiculous, man.
Yeah, obviously they're trying to get some of that crossover. Impact Wrestling, I believe, is the highest rated show on the network. They're trying to get some of the TNA talent, or fans of the talent rather, to watch Bellator. I have it on. It's on mute right now. The fights seem pretty good. I don't know what else needs to happen. I think this is just one of the things that people just have to catch on to. But they have to promote this outside of just TNA fans. They're going to have to promote this. I
totally agree with you. Yeah, because I'll never forget this. and unfortunately I can't remember the name of the fighter that I was interacting with, but there was a set of, and you probably remember the episode, there was a set of Bellator fighters that had popped up on the episode of Impact Live. I believe it was like right around, I want to say maybe September, October, and I can't remember the guy's name, but I remember he was wearing a powdered blue shirt, because he told me what he was wearing, so I could pinpoint him, because he was complaining about TNA Wrestling not promoting them off the break, because it was like him and like 5 other Bellator fighters, and I'm like, really? I'm like, TNA Wrestling hasn't acknowledged you guys yet? He's like, yeah, and at this point, Impact Live had been on for like almost an hour, okay? And like from time to time, Impact Wrestling, like on Twitter themselves, they'll retweet some of the stuff that I put out there if I'm mentioning them. So I put out a tweet. I said, hey, Impact Wrestling, Dixie Carter, it's like you guys have had your Bellator fighters there. You know, you're trying to help do the little promoting of, you know, the them coming to Spike TV, and they're going to be launching a show soon. Too long, but basically in a nutshell, I basically told him, you know, you got these fighters here. It's almost going into the second hour. Don't you think it's time to plug these guys? You're live. Hello. And sure enough, like 10 minutes later, they plugged them. I'm like, wow, it took you guys this long. Now, any other time, you can look at any other wrestling promotion, and I don't even need to go with the obvious route, okay? The obvious company. Okay, I don't even need to go there. Like, I don't even need to mention their name tonight, okay? But you go to any other wrestling promotion and they got, like, fighters or some type of B-list celebrity, C-list celebrity, they're going to bring them up. They're going to be like, oh, hey, you know, who's in the crowd tonight? Oh, that person. Oh, where? Okay, well, maybe we can try to see if we can talk to this person off and on throughout the night, see how they're enjoying the fight, and you know, or the match, and you know, do it like that. And you had like 6 guys here. That's like 6 segments right there. You could have been like, hey, so blah 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 Bellator fighter, what did you think of Jeff Hardy? Well, it was a great match. Well, back to you, Mike Tenay. And you know, they could have did it like that. But I agree with you 100%, man. That advertising, you know, they gotta go beyond wrestling. I love that combination. Don't get me wrong. The vision that they have, it's great. You know, wrestling, MMA, I love that. Great combination. You can't go wrong with that. That's, you know, that's like basically saying, you know, Hooters and football, you know, and I don't mean Hooters, you know, but that's like women Hooters. That's nice too. I was actually talking about Hooters the chicken, you know, that's bomb. But you know, great combination there, but they gotta go outside. They, you know, where's the billboards for them? You know, it seems like every time you turn around, Diamond, this has always been a problem for really Spike TV. It's like they bring these shows in, and they really don't do that much promoting for them outside of television, you know? It's kind of something one of our longtime listeners had pointed out a couple of months back. So you could walk down the street of Times Square, and this was exactly what had happened with one fan out there. He noticed a big old freaking billboard. What was that show on Spike TV? It's no longer on the air. Bad tenants or whatever, and there's like these guys running around inspecting the apartments and trying to make that show. He saw a big old huge billboard for that, right? But he didn't see not one freaking sign for Impact Wrestling, no promoting for, you know, one of their major pay-per-views, Bound for Glory. He didn't see nothing like that. So, you know, hopefully they can start throwing that money out there for that advertising, because really, you know, it's not going to go that far. Just ask those poor guys, what was that show, MMA Uncensored Live? That really didn't last too long, did it?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And notice we didn't even get any, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And TNA even tried to do a little something with that. They, you know, they had Dixie Carter, King Mo go over there, try to help it out a little bit. That bad boy didn't even last that long. So it's like, it's unfortunate. But Lockdown is starting to shape up to look like a really good pay-per-view. What do you think?
Right. Yeah, I'm interested in checking it out. I'm going to actually watch it. I also like the fact that they've taken time to build it up. I want to see more build up for this event, but they need time to build these events. And if they properly build each one of these events, they can really make something pop. But they have to promote it.
Yeah. And that's going down on March. What's that? When's lockdown? March. Trying to remember the date. I want to say March 10th. I'm gonna look it up right now. Bear with me a second, because there's a valid point I want to make here. I'm actually in front of the laptop right now. TNA lockdown. You guys get to hear me type for a few seconds here.
Yeah, it's March 10th.
March 10th? Okay,
yep.
So the reason why I'm bringing that up, we got 1 week, 2 weeks, unfortunately, to try to build some type of a feud between Jeff Hardy, Bully Ray. A little bit of a short notice there. I don't really think TNA Wrestling has enough time to do a proper build. I could be wrong, but you think they have enough time?
No. This should have been building for a month. You know, we have face versus face. You want the crowd to choose. And so in order for this to work right, you really need to be telling a story right now. The fact that Jeff Hardy hasn't been in the TV for the last, I don't know, month pretty much, we should have at least saw some type of promos or vignettes with him. I don't know. It's more so going to be centered around the story of the main event than it is actually of the match between Hardy and Bully.
Yeah. Very concerned about this match right here. I don't think it's really going to be enough you can really sink your teeth into. And on that note, this just looks like, to me, this match just basically looks like, okay, Bully Ray, your turn, put Jeff Hardy over. That's basically how it's looking to me. I would have to see something to really go, dang, Bully Ray actually has a chance right here. This could be his night finally, and I'm just not convinced that come Sunday, March 10th, it's going to be his night.
Bully Ray's night?
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be his night.
For the first time in quite some time, I really looked at the possibility of Bully getting that title. I think that he's going to get it at some point in time, and I think we're going to actually see Hogan and him fighting for the title at some point in time.
Oh, Lord, I hope. Bully Ray versus Hulk Hogan?
Yep.
Oh, man. I don't know. Lord, I hope not. if there's a guy,
he wants that title.
Yeah.
Hogan said that he wants the title.
He also said he wants hair on top of his head. I mean,
but that's something that Dixie can't do. But she can get him that title.
Oh my God. Even Sting knew when to step away. I don't know. This is what I want to do right now. I want to take a brief commercial break. Then when I come right back, let's close out the show like we normally do. But I want to go into a little bit of overtime because it's going to be old by the time we get ready to talk about this next week. I want to go into a little special segment and talk about what went down with Jack Swagger. You feel like doing a little overtime?
Absolutely. I definitely want to speak on that.
Yeah. We normally don't talk about WWE stuff on this show, folks. We try to make it be about TNA Wrestling. But, we first broke the news out to you guys. We were one of the first. I definitely shared my reactions to the news on YouTube, and really messed up. That's all I got to say. If you haven't heard yet, or you just want to kick on back and hear what we got to say, then you definitely want to stick around. We're going to do a special overtime piece. We'll play just a couple of commercials. We'll come right back. I'll give you guys some quick programming notes because we got a busy weekend over here, so we'll let you know what's going down, and then we'll come right back and we'll go ahead and we'll jump right into it. All right, so you're checking out Impact Showdown Radio. He's the one and only Diamond K, and I'm Lee Sanders. We'll be coming right back, folks. Do hang tight. All right, so we got some quick programming notes for you guys. I want to let you all know that this Friday night, we're going to be covering the Shine 7 iPay-per-view. If you guys aren't able to order that, we're going to have the full fallout from it. So if you love your women's wrestling, you want to be sure that you check out that iPay-per-view. If you don't have anything to do on a Friday night and you got $10, that's the place where you want to be. I'm actually going to be on the website. They have a little chat room that's up on there, and you'll know my screen name when you see me. If you do run into me, feel free to interact with me, and we will have the phone lines in the chat room be open for the post-show there. And I'm going to be doing something I haven't done in quite a long time. Those of you that know me well, you know I love MMA, so I'm going to be covering the fallout from UFC 157. That's going to be going down this weekend. So check that out as well. We also got the weekend edition of the RCWR show. We're going to be joined by special guest Lisa Snyder. She's the host of Live with Lisa. And she does a very unique show. It's a sports show that she does where she gives it a woman's perspective. And, you know, you guys know how some women can be when it comes to us guys watching our sports. There's the thousands of questions, and why did he touch that guy's butt, and all that other stupid stuff. So, cute stuff. Let me not say stupid, because I know my girl usually likes to, you know, why'd you say stupid? We not stupid. Not cute stuff. And we're going to be talking about what had went down with the Olympic Committee's decision to want to try to remove the pro wrestling there. It looks like it's going to be happening in 2020. And we see wrestlers such as Kurt Angle. They've already begun a very passionate campaign and having their voices be heard and putting their foot down, telling the committee, you guys are making a bonehead mistake, as we still don't have a legit explanation why they are eliminating this sport, why they're even thinking about it. So we're going to have a great in-depth talk about that. And this all comes at a very good time right now because March is our 1-year anniversary. And we did awesome getting Bruno Sammartino over here. I just want to tease you guys a little bit. We got somebody that's going to be coming through in March. Only hint I'm going to give you right now until I type something up on the website. She's a female wrestler, somebody I've enjoyed for a lot of years. That's the only hint I'm going to give you. You'll just have to stay tuned to our website. And I'm not going to just be plugging my stuff. You know, Diamond, you know, I love sharing the wealth, man. What you got planned for this weekend on your shows, buddy?
Well, this week we do Ustream Radio Live on Saturdays from 2 to 4. So we're going to be doing that. People will be able to see that on ustreamradio.com. That's the main thing, and I'm preparing to go to Atlanta to do some things with Gucci Man next week. So that's what I have to look forward to. Awesome.
I hope you're gonna be taking pictures while you're down there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I gotta see some of that. Yeah. All right, let's jump into it, man. We're now officially going into overtime. I guess it was kind of good that we had that little bit of silence right there, kind of give folks a little bit of an Easter egg right there. But I will edit it for you guys later. Let's jump right into it. Jack Swagger, WWE superstar, won the Elimination Chamber just this past weekend to become the #1 contender to take on Alberto Del Rio for the World Heavyweight title at this year's WrestleMania down now in New Jersey. You follow this up Tuesday night after the SmackDown tapings. This guy gets pulled over by a police officer. First off, he was speeding. Upon investigating further, this police officer finds that Jack Swagger has marijuana And to make matters worse, Jack Swagger was under the influence, basically driving while intoxicated. So he goes to jail. He's released on a bond, and looks like he's going to be going to court to face these charges, all misdemeanors. He's going to be going to court on March 12th, if I'm not mistaken. This comes at a critical time right now, Diamond, where this young man just came back, is receiving one hell of a mega push. It is a push and a spot at WrestleMania, whether he wins or loses. Just the fact that you have a spot at WrestleMania means you're going to have a good payday. Everybody's going to see you. You get a great freaking mouthpiece with Dutch Mantel, a.k.a. Zeb Coulter. And literally, it's just, I don't mean to, I'm not telling a joke here, but it's blown up in smoke. Your take on this, man, because, when I first heard this news, I just said, WTF.
Well, I definitely agree with that. And with what you're saying about him facing these charges, I think that a lot of it's going to depend on the outcome of his case, what his penalties are, if any. Earlier tonight, WWE released a few pre-taped We the People promo with Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter in it. So I think that probably the thing to do is to stay the course with this, see how it pans out, and he doesn't get the title.
Yeah.
Really, I think that it's too late to reset at this point. What are they going to do? It's not like Dutch can get in there and wrestle himself.
Right.
So you can't. Or you and Randy Orton to this character. There's no time for that. We basically have 6 episodes of Raw until then. And I don't see how they can do anything other than that.
I don't know. I don't know, man. Before I offer more thoughts on this, I just got to say that to the people that are sitting up on YouTube, and it's amazing when you type in. I didn't even watch these videos. I just typed in Jack Swagger arrested. I was actually just trying to see the video I posted. It was amazing how many people were on this. And what I thought was kind of degrading, what I thought was kind of sad, was the amount of people that wanted to put a cute little graphic behind his image and say, "Weed the people." I get you're trying to play off. I get it. Don't get me wrong, but I just think it's just a little bit tacky. And is it messed up that this guy, grown ass man, messed up possibly
over 30 years old?
Yeah, he messed up probably the best run that he's had in his entire career. That he'll probably ever have. Yeah. Yep. I don't feel sorry for him. He definitely should know right from wrong, but I just think that some of the people that were out there putting those little stupid little graphics up, it's one thing if you put the mug shot up, it's like, okay, I get that, but to put the little "weed the people" and all that, y'all should just be kind of, I don't want to say ashamed of yourselves, but, y'all are trying to, get little attention and all that other stuff. And, I just think that strip all that crap, all that silliness away. What we got here is the facts. Cop pulled Jack Swagger over. These charges, he's going to have to answer to them in court. He will be making a court appearance. WWE at this point, they are put into a sticky situation right now because on the one hand, according to a report from the Sun Herald in Mississippi, it looks as though he is in breach of his WWE contract, as there's a certain part of the WWE policy that states, and direct quote right here, any WWE talent who is arrested, convicted, or who admits to a violation of law relating to use, possession, purchase, sale, or distribution of drugs will be in material breach of his/her contract with WWE and subject to immediate dismissal. In addition to the penalties that may be imposed pursuant to his/her contract with WWE, a violation of this Section 14 may also be treated as a positive test for drugs prohibited by this policy and therefore subject to penalties set forth in Section 15 of this policy. So, WWE, they can either go, okay, we're done, or they can go, okay, you know what? And see, here's the real question. And to my knowledge, Jack Swagger hasn't violated the wellness policy. This would be his first strike. If they decided they wanted to go the strike route, then it would become, okay, well, when do they suspend him? Now, would it make sense to suspend him right now with 42 days left and then try to bring him back by WrestleMania? No, that just, it wouldn't make sense. But Diamond, we saw a similar case last year, 2011 there, where it was Awesome Truth. They were supposed to take on John Cena and The Rock in a tag match there. What was that, at, I think, Survivor Series, and R-Truth had violated the policy, and WWE was kind of like, urgh, and, he kind of went a couple of weeks there, but it kicked in after he did his match at Survivor Series, and they took him off TV. Worst case scenario, there's a couple of ways that this could play out. And like I said on YouTube, and I'm kind of echoing it, but I'm adding some new stuff to it. From that creative standpoint, from that writing standpoint, and if you've been listening long enough, that's usually how I think. I think from the creative standpoint, even though Big Show is kind of having contract problems or whatever it is that's going on with him right now, he looks to be the way to go. If they want to just be rid of Jack Swagger, Diamond, they can just say, you know what, this kid just messed up. We gave him the ball. He just blew it up. Bump that. Let's just, kind of sweep him under the rug. Let's go with Big Show, and then you can have it be Big Show, Del Rio. Some fans may be annoyed by that, but they would relish in the fact that, okay, we got Dolph Ziggler, who possibly could be cashing in that title at WrestleMania. So, they may bite that, knowing that, okay, we got Dolph Ziggler to look forward to. You can't take Sheamus in. You can't put Sheamus in there right now. He's focused on the Shield. Like you said, Randy Orton, no, that's not the route to go. So you're going to unfortunately have to go the Big Show route and see, that puts them in a bad spot, because I know that's probably not the route that they want to go, but they really don't have any choice. Now, on the other hand, all this buzz that's been created with the Zeb Coulter character, right? You got guys on Fox talking about this character. I mean, you got guys that are just upset with this daggone character left and right. WWE had to release a statement earlier today saying this isn't the first time that WWE has come up with a character that's been very controversial and has, made the headlines or whatever. They're basically saying, look, we're just all about entertainment. This is nothing more than a character. This person isn't real life. The route that, they could go is just say, okay, you know what, this Zeb character, this Jack Swagger thing, okay, it's popular. Let's just have it, run its course. And then after WrestleMania, they could be like, okay, Swagger, okay, you got to go away for a little while now. So, there's a couple of ways they could do this. And, I mean, for the record, WWE, Diamond, just because you violate the policy or whatever, it doesn't mean that, okay, off the break, you're pulled off TV. WWE, at its own discretion, they can decide when they want to do this. So I don't know, man. I don't know. It could go in different directions right here, man. But I think disappointment is beyond the word. Yeah, yeah. You know, I mean, you got so many guys that fight for that WrestleMania spot, and
yeah. I mean, when you look at Jerry the King Lawler, the role that he had to play, you know, to get into WrestleMania after all of his years, Swag is coming in 31, 32 years old with the golden opportunity, a red-hot gimmick angle, and this is the time where he's supposed to be watching what he does tremendously. And to allow himself to be in this situation, I mean, you said earlier that you don't feel sorry for him. I feel a little sorry for him because I know that he's going to look back at this years later as an opportunity missed. Because even if they go through with the angle, even if he goes on to WrestleMania to wrestle in a very high-profile match, he's not going to be looked at the same going forward. They're not going to trust him. And they shouldn't. You know, I probably would say you have Swagger fall short. You have 6 or 7 weeks to prepare. You pick out the next person, and you bring another person into this American, or as you said in your video, the angry American, which I thought I liked that actually.
Yeah.
You know, like a faction. Bring in somebody else and give them a shot at Del Rio and keep the angle going.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
how badass would it be? My God, I just had a brainstorm. How badass would it be if we saw JBL leave the commentating booth to feud with Alberto Del Rio and just get him over? I mean, that is a perfect opportunity.
Do you know what happened to Del Rio? Cena killed Del Rio.
Mm-hmm.
The promos that he made about the car not being his and being rented, and you know, all of that kind of stuff, that really hurt the credibility of Del Rio.
Yeah. Yeah, it did big time. Now we don't even see Del Rio come out in his cars anymore. It's like,
yeah,
it was like, what happened, dude?
Well, I mean, you know, being the face gimmick, what could he do?
Yeah. Well, shoot, Eddie Guerrero, heel or face, he used to stay coming out. You know.
True.
I mean, it shouldn't even matter. But I mean, JBL would be the way to go. I mean, the storyline is right there for the taking. One match JBL has to do just to get Del Rio over. 6 weeks. I mean, that would just be some phenomenal stuff. You could see Alberto Del Rio, you know, cutting a promo on Jack Swagger or whatever.
Definitely.
And, you know, JBL, he just comes out of nowhere, just attacks Del Rio from behind, Irish rips him to the ropes, clothesline from hell, and that's that week of Raw. You just have people go, why in the hell did JBL attack Alberto Del Rio? You think you might get something on SmackDown? What's that? Josh and JBL, they're usually commentators. You don't even get JBL on commentating for SmackDown that week. You're going to have to wait until Raw next week where he breaks his silence. He reveals why he attacked him, and basically, you know, he can tap into that rivalry, that great rivalry at that he had going on with Eddie Guerrero there, tap into that but amplify it even more. And the fans would just eat that up.
Yeah, I think you're onto something there. That would be very, very interesting TV there if they went that route, definitely. Clothesline from Hell would just set it up nicely. Yeah.
And that's the way to go. If they decide they don't want to go with Big Show, that's the way to go. At least JBL has proven he does have the golden voice on the mic, you know, and perfect alignment there with Zeb Coulter. I mean, damn win-win combination right there. But we're going to be watching this very closely. But, yeah, Angry American indeed. And I hope you guys appreciated that. But, because that's as insightful as it's really going to get. I took the liberty of looking finally at like a couple of vids that some people were saying, and so many people want to sit up and say, Jack Swagger, you're stupid. What are you thinking, man? And I don't think it's really about being stupid. I think for some people, and it doesn't just apply to wrestlers. It's everybody, okay? You kind of get to a point in your life where you kind of feel like, I'm young and, I got all this going on. I'm all that in a bag of chips. I can get away with this. I'm on top of the world right now. I'm untouchable. That's how some people kind of look at it. And, I just think, this is a case right here where Jack Swagger probably felt a little James Dean. He's, how that Sammy Hagar song go, I can't drive 55. I mean, he just doing his thing, cruising and smoking his weed and drinking. He was probably just relishing in the fact that, man, I'm going to WrestleMania. And, he didn't think about Popo. So, it happens. People make bonehead decisions all the time. And I think my message to fans overall, especially those that want to just sit up and criticize this man, we really don't know the circumstances for what all had went down. And I don't think it's right to make fun of him. And then at the same time, who are we to judge? Because nobody's perfect. I'm sure there's many of us that have made bonehead decisions and been like, man, what the hell was I thinking? Why the hell did I do that? And, we say a couple of years later, man, I wish I didn't do that. And this is definitely going to be a case for him. I mean, he's still young, but at the same time, that excuse can only go but so far, and I mean, with him being in his 30s, it's, now you're going to have to work 2 times hard to earn the trust right back. This isn't a Caitlyn, this isn't Cameron. They can be a little bit more lenient towards them because, they're females, whatever. But,
right.
Swagger, it's like, come on, dude, you definitely knew better. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I hope that WWE isn't really too harsh on him. Because honestly, as much as I would like to see the whole JBL thing happen, I actually liked what Swagger was doing. I was actually finally rooting him on. So hopefully, we could kind of see something positive come out of this. And I don't think he needs to be fired from the company. Would you agree?
Yeah, no, I don't think that needs to happen. But I mean, he's just coming out of being in the can for, I don't know how long. He's been off TV, just coming back up, and then to get in this situation. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. But, I mean, he's not the only one that's had, some troubles. I mean, there have been big acts over the years that's had troubles. I mean, Piper comes to mind, and HBK was not exactly the the poster boy for sobriety in his run. So at least Swagger was not under the influence of the marijuana. I think that helps him a bit. He was in possession of it, but he not. He didn't fail a test.
Right.
He was just drunk. So if that is any type of good point for him.
I tell you this much: just imagine if he would have won the title at WrestleMania, and then at the SmackDown tapings, for that week, this stuff would have went down. If Dolph Ziggler didn't cash in that briefcase, he sure as hell would be doing it on the next episode of Raw. Everybody thought RVD was bad when he lost the ECW and the WWE title in the same week. That would have been nothing with Jack Swagger. They would have did that WWE title like that classic hardcore championship title that remember Spike Dudley was pushing. He was like, anytime, anywhere. They would have jumped Jack Swagger in the back. 1, 2, 3. New WWE champion, World Heavyweight champion. I'm telling you, man, that's crazy. That's going to do it, guys. I think that was a good in-depth discussion right there. Talk of Wrestling is going to end right here for now, but, you know, it's always going to continue on Twitter and Facebook, so make sure you check that out. And if you missed the classic episode that we've put out so far, us, the Dynamic Duos over here, you want to definitely make sure you go check them out. Archive section of iTunes. Episodes are free. We'll never charge you guys. So go grab them up, listen to them, all your respectable portable devices, and that's going to do it. Yeah, man. Did a solid week of good shows. I was playing back Tuesday, man. That was we went all over the place. That was some good stuff on Tuesday.
Oh, yeah. Definitely enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good stuff. That's it, boys and girls. I want you all to have a fantastic weekend. And if it's starting to get kind of warm where you all are at, make it count. Enjoy. I know we got some good movies that's getting ready to come out in the theaters. If I'm not mistaken, Rock and Snitch. I think that's going to be out this weekend, right?
Yep. And G.I. Joe coming out in March.
Yeah, so a lot of good stuff to check out beginning this weekend. So do yourself a favor, check it out. Daylight Savings, I don't know if it's this weekend. Is it this weekend?
I don't think so.
I was going to say, I hope it's not this weekend. Because, well, if it is, you know, fast forward your clocks. You all know the drill. All right, Diamond, last words, buddy.
I mean, you know, once again, we're in the wrestling season, the Super Bowl, if you will. Wrestling's only going to get better and better coming up to WrestleMania. Even Impact Wrestling's going to get better. So looking forward to that. Daylight Savings Time, March the 10th.
Thank
you. There you go.
March the 10th. Don't worry. We'll remind you all again. Don't worry. All right. For the one and only Diamond K, Black Avenger, Lee Sanders, I wish you guys be safe, be kind to one another. If you just listen to this episode now, it's a little funky. Give me about 25 minutes. I'll have this remix cleaned up, and you'll be able to check it out for your downloading pleasure. Everybody, be safe, be kind to one another. Take care.